Alright, alright, alright. So, first of all, BRB. Great. Perfect. Amazing. So yes, tomorrow, a thing that I should be doing tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. Well, probably tomorrow is the day for going to different shops and checking stuff that came back to me. That's going to be the main activity, but also the collab with Genshin Impact, the offline collab that is live. Chain attack at least 2 times. Evelyn.
I'll protect you from any danger.
Switch to this.
Asset confirmed. Preparing to move out.
Gonna even ask any other questions.
Alright, I'll take the mic.
Don't hesitate. Nothing slips through my defense.
Those chain attacks done. Let's go for this.
わたわた
Asset confirmed. Preparing to move out.
Be my guy. All right, I'll take the mic. We've caught him.
Heads up. Precision strike. Initiate. Don't even try. Countering.
Listen to my my time to shine.
All exits are now sealed.
Don't
Securing the perimeter.
together. We'll compose a miracle.
Come on. Those ones have been completed.
Eradicate all evil.
Okay. Set config. I mean, let's go like this. If you say Miyabi is the correct option here.
The stage is mine. I see it.
Okay, I like the black skin of Astra more and more.
For Lord Satan, it's over. There's no time to lose.
Have there even been any disorder? No. No. And the only way to fix it is to have a team that is weaker. And has less AOE. Or actually I could have played. Nah. No, both times.
Let's make this quick.
I'm here. Need a hand?
Okay. Careful.
Alright. Much more disorders. It's 2 seconds. No, I don't know how to play Manas yet. Hopefully this will change, but in order to change that I need to actually train.
No time to lose. Scatter! You're done! Don't underestimate me. You're done! Scatter!
Nope. Ridiculous. Maybe just that.
Press the attack. Surrender. A perfect.
Look at this.
Go now, child. In pursuit.
Seth in position.
Waste of time. Attack incoming. Resistance is futile. Mind and body. Don't be afraid. It won't hurt. Surrender. You cannot stop me.
You asked for it.
Resistance. I'm right here. Enemies of Section 6 shall pay. Surrender.
Engage.
Go play. Distance here.
I'll prove myself.
Okay, that was something. I don't know what specifically, but that was something. Just you.
Okay. I'm here. Oops, sorry. Come time for a surprise. Yeah, like that. Let's make this quick. Careful, don't get scared. No escape.
Nice boss. It attacks pretty fast, so I have the time to actually dodge. Okay, let's first and foremost, come on, give me the stuff that I want. Give me those two. Now let's claim everything. Two more? Really? Alright. Thought it'd be more. I was mistaken, however. Terrorist hunt. Yeah, whatever. Finish your defense. 1 day, 9 hours. Tomorrow. You have to deal with it. No, I actually don't have to. But you know, could. Should. Would. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Yeah, agent story for 100. Another 100 that I might just miss. 25 days. Probably should do Seed story sooner rather than later. Because, well, I might actually like her as a character. Oh, that's the ending of this story. Okay, well, let's see if there's anything else here. in this event. If I can still participate. Otherwise, those 90. Okay, station. Official YouTube channel, claim, official Discord channel, already, claim, official Reddit page, not interested. Run up. Okay, let's... Everything here is done. Go on a little Corbu adventure and stuff. Thank you for participation. Looks like everything is fine. I'm really sorry. Boo box. Holy boo. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works. That's more. Alright, this one. The last one of its kind. Exercise moderately and it will to atone. Alright, I'll talk to you later. Now, it is more important and interesting. Well, not necessarily interesting, but is important. Is the fact that there is a new deadly assault. The ancient version of deadly assault. I should put more votes. I'm trying to be comfy to heal as fast as possible. And without lasting consequences. The sickness. All right. Here we are. And here we go. Time for couple of things. One of which is this daily, but also I need to check out this.
Show me your
chest.
moves.
A good fight.
Let the world come alive! Cleanup sequence initiated. A little move boost. At first, the flip surge. Ha! Yeah!
Oh, come on. That was fast. You go, come on. No, you won't. Oh, that was the last one. Really? I thought it was.
What a pleasant surprise. True.
Oh. Nice. Today's morning, I read in, you know what, the Hoya lab, visit Hoya lab, just for
Accelerating.
morning stroll there. So a post about how some, like one specific character is really great at something, and on at opening chests, like the sound that they make is amazingly cute or something. Don't remember what that sound was.
Accelerating.
Yeah. Those. but it was in Japanese voiceover, so.
You might want to get a guide if you're not familiar with
Moment. Let's go there, teleport, and do all the relevant stuff. I feel like this is really important. Okay. Or they just slow us down. It's not really a big problem. Nope. Nope. Come on, time to speedrun this. Come on. It was pretty fast. How the fuck am I? Uh-huh. Not fast enough. Oh. Nice. Dishonor. Those dudes. What's there? Ah. Oh. Crap. Crap. That was really close, but I fumbled it. Crap. No, probably should just wait them by the side. Or should I try it again? I already did it. And wait for all of those. What I need first is sure this weapon is leveled up to max. Today. Today is the day.
Yoo-hoo! Time to shine! Defensive mode engaged. Preparing for dust up. Up to the freezer! The pinnacle of excellence! Paradigm shift! Ah.
Paradigm shifting jet.
Cleanup sequence a little amuse-bouche. At first, into the void.
Domain. Yay. Yay. 30 levels. To wait. Daily expedition reward.
Add astro.
Oh. Okay. Okay. The weapon. Let's just craft. How can I even equip this weapon? Oh. Where is this? Details. Fast equip. Cock. Filter. Sanganamia. Okay. Dora more. All that jazz. Mm-hmm. That's enough. Yeah. End of the road. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. What I'm gonna do right now is first and foremost go to that. There is already a particular meta from what I understand. Let's switch it to the newest set, I guess. Um, switch to this one. I don't need much more than this. Reactions. You and you and you, I guess. Maybe her. And Svetlana. Let's go like this. Seems fine. Seems fine. Wait, medicine? I'm not sure that's the correct difficulty for the first run.
Born of ice and frost.
Adventure time!
Light it up! Everybody stand! Get to work! See Laline! East Papa! Get him! Pyroclastic surge! Incinerate! Incinerate! Burn it down! Yeah! Show no mercy! Access denied for Rex Lapis. Teamwork is dreamwork. Light it up. Fulfill our pact. You two. Time to end Wrath from the Skies. Incinerate! Try and stop me! Let's light it up! Everybody stick! See Laline! East Papa! Get him! Light up the blazing sun! Born of ice and... Huh? Show no mercy! Suffer the wrath! Pyroclast!
Mm-hmm. Maybe Bennett is not the chase here.
Use of force. Bow your head.
Insulation chamber deployed. Shower me with praise!
The wind knows me. Silence.
Yeah. Time to shine!
As one with wind and cloud.
The tides beckon. Settle down.
Well, that was
Cleanup sequence initiated. Annihilation mode. Yoo-hoo! Let my name echo in song!
Wind strike. Clouds high. The birds calm.
Silence. Be sanctified.
one with wind and cloud.
Warn you! Looks like violence is the answer. Let the mighty be humble. Settle down.
Installation chamber deployed. Ultimatum protocol. Shower me with the...
Silent.
Oh. Nothing.
With all my strength. Ha! Rest and rebuild. Go! Everyone hold hands. Fight this on yourself. Allow me. Make yourselves at home. Positions. Hold the line. Just like we rehearsed. Hi. Committed to memory. Help! I see everything. Everyone hold hands. Fly! Forward Amber, help! Yeah. Rest and rebuild. Dance with the waves. Grow, grow, grow. Go! Covenant of the deep. This may hurt a little. Here. Allow me. Just like we rehearsed. A brush
Wow,
maneuver.
so fucking close. So close, yet so far. Someone who is Hydra and Cryo. Maybe like that. Can't use Farina. She's on the other side. If that's the case, she has really a wrong set. Okay, you have the correct set. And all of you
A dash of frosting. Fulfill our pact. You two. Time to. Game's up. Fun's over. Off to the freezer. Boost on the loose. Fearless. Another star goes out. Show no mercy. Eat Laline. Eat Papa. Gotcha. A little amuse bouche. A burst of sleep. Power. Quietly now. Here comes the cash. Fulfill our pact. Suffer the wrath of... Take it easy. A dash of frosting. Boost on the loose. Game's up. Fun's over. Get to work. You two. Time to... A little amuse bouche. The pinnacle of act... Busted. Here comes the cash. Show no mercy. Suffer the wrath of... Extinguish. Power. Off to the freezer. Gotcha. Fulfill our pact. Eat Laline. Eat Papa. Get him. A dash of frosting. Busted. Things are about to get dicey. Suffer the wrath of Eastling! A little amuse bouche. A burst of... Power. A dash of frosting. Boost on the loose. Here comes the catch. Show no mercy. You two. Time to... Mine to wield. A burst of flavor. Game's up. Fun's over. Eat Laline. Eat Papa. Mine to wield.
Okay. Releasing their first
A
scene
little amuse bouche.
the character
Pinnacle of
that
excellence. Here comes the cash. Get to work. Suffer the wrath of Eden. Mine to wield. Off to the freezer. Boost on the loose.
I should go something like this.
A little amuse bouche. Fulfill our pact.
Okay, that is what. The fact that I have to raise my aim every fucking time.
Get to work! Gotcha! A dash of frosting! The pinnacle of excellence!
Annihilate. Mine to wield.
Okay. Pressing wrong buttons again.
Fulfill our pact!
Busted.
Off to the freezer!
Game's up. Fun's over.
Show no mercy! You two! Time! A burst of flavor! Suffer the wrath of me! The pinnacle of excellence!
Here comes the catch. Power.
Fulfill our pact! You two! Time!
Gotcha.
Eat Laline! Eat Papa! A dash of frosting! Boost on the loose!
Game's up. Fun's over. Mine to wield.
I'm doing something wrong.
That's more like.
One of the things I can do is character preview, weapons, switch to the one weapon that I actually charged attack crit rate is increased. Ah, no problem. Charged attack crit rate is increased. Artifacts. Yeah. She won't have. Much better situation here. Like we can't just not you, but you. Artifacts. What do those artifacts do? After equipping characters, a reaction related to the all nearby party members. Okay. 15 seconds. What does your ultimate do? Regime 15 seconds, cooldown 18 seconds, energy cost. Mm-hmm.
Off to the freezer! Quietly now. Show no mercy! Take it easy. The pinnacle of excellence! Gotcha. Here comes the catch. Suffer the wrath of each! Ha ha! Ha ha! Ha! Yeah! Ha! Yeah! 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 At first, the flavor. Quietly now. Things are about to get tight. Get to work! You two! Time to end! Ha! Gotcha. A dash of frosting. Game's up. Fun's over. Fulfill our pact. Eat Laline. Eat Papa. Surge. Mine to wield. Yeah. Off to the freezer. The pinnacle of excellence. You two! Time to end them!
Maybe what I want, what I really, really want. Is not you? Not you. And then character preview, weapons, switch back to this.
Obey! At first, the flavor. Quietly now. Things are about to get dicey. By ordinance divine. Extinguish. Power. A little amuse-bouche. Jacko's on the loose. Gotcha. Game's up. Fun's over. Manifest. Do your master's bidding. Power. Things are about to get dicey. Busted. A dash of front. Unleash. By ordinance divine. Power. Keep going. Off to the freezer. The pinnacle of excellence. Transfiguration! Cryo Incarnate! Surge! Mine to wield. A dash of rock! Quietly now. Manifest! Do your master's bidding!
Oh. Wow. Good job. Okay. Here's Elemental Master Energy Recharge. Crit damage energy recharge.
With all my strength!
Oh, come on. That wasn't the correct thing to do.
Here! Hold the line! I see everything!
What the fuck all those things?
Grow! Rust and Reven, fly! Fallen Amber, help! Sharing my knowledge! Fight this on the side! Torrent, bring refuge! Let's move out. Committed to memory. With all my strength. How the... Hey! Go! Just like we rehearsed. This dance is for you. Hold the line. Grow. The Temple of Wisdom. Uphill battle. Covenant of the Deep. Ride this on the side. Uphill battle.
Go. Yay! Hmm. Uh, where's the Breathing. That's good enough for now. War. One more. 100 more. To be specific. Current total exploration progress.
I know. Present.
Not yet. Maybe let's just go do the abyss a bit. I'm pretty sure I can do it. Lomaless Electrodendro. Opponent details. That's not a test. That's not a test anymore. Oh. Yeah, sure.
Let's get down to business.
A little amuse-bouche. Goose on the loose. Let my name echo in song. Obey. Cryo incarnate. Extinguished.
Let me
A burst of flavor. Let the world come alive. Manifest by ordinance divine. Annihilate. Positions. Rest and rebuild. This may turn a brash maneuver. All my strength. Growl.
Okay.
The pinnacle of excellence. Strike a pose. Cryo incarnate. Time to shine. Mine to wield. Adaptive frosting. Goose on the loose. Yoo-hoo! Let my name echo in song.
Yeah, problematic.
Positions. Committed to memory. Hold the line. Just like we rehearsed. Fly. Grow. Rest and rebuild. With all my strength. Everyone hold hands. Go! Committed to memory. Positions. This may hurt a little. Allow me. Hi! Try this on yourself. Hold the line. I see everything. With all my strength. Fly!
Much health on the opponent's character attack, or
I'll make short work of you.
A burst of flavor. Shower me with. Do your master's bidding. Ha. Yeah. Ha. Yeah. Let the world collide. Unleash. Positions. Hey! Allow me! Go! Just like we rehearsed! Billowing surge! Sharing my knowledge! Rest and rebuild! Hi! Try this on yourself! Here! A co-battle torrent! Bring refuge! Fly! Just like we rehearsed! Hold the line! Positions! All eyes on me! I'm still committed to memory! The Temple of Wisdom! Go! Try this on for some! Yeah!
give me Lomu, please. Not yet. Okay, maybe, just maybe. Not yet. Alright, might as well claim rewards.
Ad Astra. Thank you for. This realm is.
My usual friend doesn't have Nevelet. Well, that's some interesting news.
If you ever had.
Alright, so there are multiple smithies in the new region. Cleared it even without Farina. Wow. It's ridiculous.
The abyss is like the world's shadow. It's always
Flanka. Oh. Something needs to move. And there is a chest. Hmm.
A treasure buried in time.
Can I? No. Okay, this doesn't make any sense.
Surge mode.
A little amuse-bouche. Boost on the loose. Torque. Yeah. Splendid! More interesting trinkets for me.
Oh. Can follow me. But not far, it seems. And what now? Is it just broken? For now. Hey. Probably some other collection thing. Request. This can be it too. Pretty fucking nice music. If I do so myself.
Now it's your turn. Time for the big one.
Shower me with praise. Let the world come.
Installation chamber deployed. Annihilation mode.
Off to the freezer. So quiet.
New material discovered. Records updated.
Accelerating.
It's not really all that easy to do. And what should I do? Get that. Oh, curious. Okay. Assembly modules. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And okay. I'm really confused, to be fair. Four left. 2 chests unlocked so far. It's really nice.
Estimating value of acquired items.
It's really something, isn't it? Nope.
Accelerating.
No idea what to do. Maybe if I go from the top? No.
Yeah.
Hint.
Accelerating.
Can mint.
Yeah.
It really is a head scratcher. Wait, what's that? Line over there. Uh-huh. Oh. Alright. I guess those two will travel there. To the left. Cool stuff. But those are really far. Whoa, really far.
accelerating.
I wonder what the last two might be. Well, definitely not here. That's for certain. Okay. Нешка. Макола. Jeez. Wow. That's Polish. I think. Mhm. Бобик. Мгм. Nice. М. Mhm. Please learn to control Bobby properly. Okay, so we're gonna read instruction manual then. Mhm. Mhm. Hmm. Mhm. Mhm. Hmm. I literally followed the blueprint.
Accelerating. Reviewing outstanding items on today's to-do list.
Do you have any additional commands? No problem. I can add them shortly. I'm quite used to it.
The show begins!
Defensive mode is
The pinnacle of excellence!
annihilate.
Mine to wield.
Ah. May I present? Splendid! More interesting trinkets for me.
Knuckle sandwiches. Drzi slab. Have you ever seen anyone with poorer judgment? Puppies are puppies and humans are humans, and we never should. The two be spoken of as the same creature, but you know, many pets are treasured as family nowadays. Precisely. Precisely.
Change of plan. Strike a button. Stop that.
Ultimatum protocol.
A little amuse bouche. Goose on the loose.
I guess we finished them way too fast. Seems about right. Oh no. That's very unfortunate. Yay! Those are the last two. So the music is really nice, but I feel like I should listen to something else.
Even the most unassuming ingredients can produce astounding flavor. But unlocking that potential takes a keen sense of smell, a refined palate, and an open mind.
You're seconds away from a head-on crash. Would you rather be in the tank-like 1990 Volvo, or do you opt for the newer 2012 Renault, but it's 500 pounds lighter? Place your bets now.
Renault.
If you chose the Volvo, you're in
Know of
huge
any new
trouble.
orchestral
The seemingly
pieces?
tough
I
metal
like to swap
structure
out the
was
background
crushed.
music in the
You're
kitchen
not
once
walking
in a
away
while.
from this.
It's a great way to
Meanwhile,
find
the
new
little
inspiration.
plastic Renault is far safer. The passenger compartment has barely been touched. How did that Volvo go from being the safest car of its era to losing to a tiny car? And more importantly, when does that happen to your vehicle? I needed to know, as my own car that had the highest safety ratings when I bought it was later revealed to have a deadly flaw that could kill me. Join me on my quest to figure out how car safety actually works and whether I need to say goodbye to my Honda Fit. Is it hot? Ooh. This video is brought to you by Proton. More on them later. To figure out how a car like mine or yours becomes dangerous, we need to go back in time when not much was known about auto safety. It's the 1950s, and cars are everywhere. And automotive deaths went from a blip to a major cause of death in 4 decades. Scientists were working hard at the first crash research center. The tests were crude by today's standards, and the first safety designs a little unconventional. But through trial, error, and a little bit of creativity, we started to unravel the deadly mysteries of car crashes.
Notice, at the moment of impact, the rim breaks away. This becomes a lethal instrument. It's a spear. That's what hurts the driver.
Engineers started solving these problems, and eventually those ideas became mature enough to be used in a production vehicle.
Because the 56 Ford has lifeguard design.
Ford's new lifeguard steering wheel is designed to cushion any impact against it. Even the shatter-resistant mirror is double-jointed to give way easily when hit.
Are you kidding me, Ford? We don't talk about safety. I don't care if this is the second best-selling car of the year. Get rid of it or we'll get rid of you. Automakers were terrified the government would start asking questions and then create expensive and bothersome regulations. Next year, that car was never seen again, and with Ford put in place, automakers would focus on the fun of driving. These good times ended 1 decade later when the best-selling book, Unsafe at Any Speed, exposed the public and Congress in 1966 to how dangerous cars actually were. The government sprang into action, passing the first ever car safety bill. It's a game changer, forcing new tests on dangerous pieces of equipment. Failure means a car can't be sold. At the center of this safety revolution, the steering wheel. Today, when you're driving to work, you wouldn't think of this as a dangerous weapon, but let me show you what it used to be like. Did you catch it? The steering wheel rises up and smashes your face. And this is why. It used to be a spear, and the force of a crash pushes it forward and up into your face. To stop this, the government created a test. It crashed each new car, and to pass, the steering wheel had to move less than 5 inches. So how does a steel pole remain stiff while driving and soft on impact? Like this. By turning part of the shaft into mesh, it can easily collapse on impact to save your life. Today, steering wheels use these same principles, but it's a telescoping mechanism instead, as it's more reliable. If we look closely, it's a grooved metal sleeve that can slide over an inner core. At the bottom here is a U-joint, and it allows the column to be split into multiple sections, so in a crash, it'll fold up inside your car. The 1968 Act was a huge success, fixing tons of dangerous things in your car. But it had a major flaw. Car makers didn't need to prove their changes made you safer. They only had to tick the boxes on the equipment required. It's like making a cake with all the right ingredients, but not caring what it tastes like. So many cars remained incredibly dangerous despite the new law. To fix things, the government came up with a surprisingly clever idea. They introduced a 30-mile-per-hour crash test and placed a dummy inside to measure if you're safe or not. This shifted the focus from equipment to passenger protection. This new crash test meant all the parts had to work together for a car to pass, and the concept is known as crash worthiness, and it completely changed our ideas around making vehicles safe. In the same way, I think the idea of privacy is changing. It's not something I often consider a valuable product to be accessed Proton's data breach. Identity theft goes out automatically to protect it on, not me, who have chosen privacy.
Boring.
Automakers, let's get back to the new crash test and the challenges it created. Automakers had a big problem to solve. Their cars were either too soft and crumpled like a tin can, or were too rigid, and then this happened. Look at how hard you're thrown against your seatbelt. That snap can smush organs and break bones. The answer wasn't to make everything medium tough, but instead, they needed both soft and hard. The first step was turning the passenger compartment into a fortress. The pillars, critical to this, had to be reinforced with multiple layers of steel to keep this area from being crushed. Engineers call this the safety cell. But without a cushion, a sudden stop would end up scrambling our internal organs, and I think we all like our internal organs. In your car, we get this cushioning by stretching out how long a crash takes. It's the difference between Wile E. Coyote and landing on a giant air-filled mattress. To understand how, we need to look under the hood and talk about these structures here. Running along the front is a long and tough crash bar. This connects to a pair of crash rails. On impact, the bar squishes the rails like an accordion, and this motion absorbs more than half of the crash energy. This is part of the structure called a crumple zone, and there's one in the back to protect you in rear impacts. Once crumple zones and safety cells became standard features, people were far more likely to survive. But there's a limit on how much they can protect you. To take safety to the next level, there needed to be a game changer, something with a little bit more oomph. Airbags were to be the next big thing. The technology was nearly mature by the late 80s, but standing in the way were a concerning number of serious injuries and even deaths. Engineers found many passengers were too close to the airbag and their faces were smashed. Others weren't hitting the bag properly because they slid under the seatbelt. That's called submarining, and it can break your spine and damage organs. So how does the government stop these injuries from happening? They took the same 30-mile-per-hour test, but made it harder by lowering how much force the dummy could receive. To pass this test, automakers needed not only airbags, but a whole symphony of new technology to stop the airbags from hurting you. And it starts with an explosive inside your seatbelt. Let's see what this does. Watch the seatbelt closely. See how it tightens incredibly fast? This pulls back your chest so your face won't get smashed by the airbag. This also tightens against your pelvis so you can't slide under your seatbelt. These lifesavers are called pre-tensioners, and early versions in the 80s used a powerful spring to pull back the seatbelt.
But in the 90s and beyond, things got a lot more explosive. I have two types here. Let's set them off and see them in action.
I'm setting up a seatbelt retractor at the base of a chair, and inside is a pyrotechnic that will explode when it gets zapped by electricity, which winds up a mechanism inside along with the seatbelt.
When I trigger this, it's gonna go into here, and then Mr. Bear here will be saved by the explosion. I'm hoping this works. I've never done this before. We'll see what happens. Ooh. Oh, 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 oh. Wow, that scared the crap out of me. Holy crap. Okay, let's see. Let's go see. Oh, it smells like gunpowder. Have you ever smelled gunpowder before? That's the exact smell. Oh, jeez. This is probably burning hot to the touch too. I did not expect this to work at all. I'm so surprised.
I'm glad that worked. I also set up another pre-tensioner that's found in your buckle. This one is often paired with the one earlier for a stronger or an extended effect. Alright, let's see what happens next.
The pre-tensioners have fired, pulling you back in the correct position. The impact pushes you forward again, and then this. Your seatbelt has locked, and that's because of a clever inertia-based mechanism inside that helps keep you restrained. However, to reach the airbag, you have to pull and stretch your webbing, which can cause some serious injury. To allow your body to move forward more gently, there's a device called a load limiter. It's in the middle of your seatbelt, and when you push forward hard enough, it twists a metal bar inside, which slowly releases the seatbelt, easing you forward into the airbag. Let's see how that goes. All right, it's finally time, the big bang. I've been waiting to do this for a long time. I'm just kind of nervous. I don't know how this goes. I got a little bit of a tire barrier that I'm gonna hide behind right here. And if all goes well, then we'll see you on the other side. Is it hot? Ooh. Steaming. All right, I gotta open up the garage door, put some air in here. Apparently, it can be a little bit poisonous from this, so just want to get a little bit of ventilation in here. Close the door so the neighbors won't call in.
Little did I know, that completely failed.
You okay?
Pardon?
Are you okay?
Yeah, sorry, was that really loud? I closed this.
I'll put the rest of this conversation at the end of this video.
Still coming out. Look at that. So those are the holes where the explosion comes out of. Look at that.
I was so happy this worked, as there was a ton of planning that went into it. Afterwards, I went to the studio to do a teardown, but it didn't turn out to be that exciting. So let's wrap with this sequence, showing how everything comes together to reduce injuries from seatbelts and airbags, which includes some technology that reduces the impact if you blow through the airbag and smack the steering wheel.
Hopefully now you can appreciate how much goes into keeping you safe. And what an accomplishment by scientists and engineers. But it's not the government or automakers who are really giving the push on safety. I think in the last 25 years, this group has become the real leaders of car safety. Yep, car insurance companies, and many of you are alive today because of how they shamed automakers into making better cars. It sounds ridiculous until we learn why.
The reason? This. In 2023, insurance companies shelled out $96 billion in claims, with 2/3 of that going to bodily injury. Safer cars could save them tons of money, which is why in 1959, they came together and started their own research center, the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, or the IHS. For decades, they were quietly working behind the scenes, but becoming unhappy with the slow pace of government, they had a brilliant idea. What if we became the new safety standard instead of the government? And in 1995, this started appearing on TVs across America.
Dateline has been reporting on a new kind of crash test. It's called an offset test, and some say it more closely resembles the way accidents occur in the real world.
And the results can be dramatically different. Remember that car in the government test? This is what happened to the same model car last year in the Institute's test. So you might wonder why the government doesn't do offset testing. We asked the government's top auto safety official that last year.
We applaud the Insurance Institute for doing this sort of test. We think it's an important test. We just don't have the money right now to do that.
In the mid-90s, this program was reaching over 20 million people a night. And this publicity was forcing automakers to respond to this new overlap test through expensive structural improvements.
All of these areas in yellow were designed and incorporated because of the offset test.
The biggest change was replacing mild steel used in the structure with advanced high-strength steel, which is 5 times stronger. This stronger steel and improved structure are the secret sauce as to why modern cars are safer. Remember how the lighter Renault won? It's because of ultra-high strength steel, which allowed the crash bar to distribute the hit across both rails in the vehicle. When the Volvo was hit, only one side worked, which is why you see this big dent in the front. This improvement is visible in the moderate overlap crash cores over time. After 18 years, every vehicle was acing this harder test. With this, the IHS knew they had a winning strategy. Design new and tougher tests, shame automakers with public spectacles, cars become safer, which saves them money, which funds new and harder tests. Game on. The government side impact test? Nope. That's not reflective of big American SUVs and what they do to smaller cars. So their bigger and tougher tests showed how heads would bounce off the hood. Automakers responded and vehicles went from this to this. Test after test, this arms race in safety and publicity made the IHS the de facto standard in auto safety. Car makers were proud to earn the IHS's highest award, the top safety pick, which requires a good rating across the board to get it.
My Honda Fit had this, and it's a big reason why I bought this car. I was happy. Manual transmission, fun to drive, super practical, and then 1 year later, the IHS developed a new test and brought back previously safe cars like mine.
Surprise, surprise, many failed, including mine, as it avoids the usual crash structures and hits the driver's compartment directly. My car wasn't designed for this test, which is how it went from being safe to having a dangerous flaw overnight. Thanks, insurance companies.
But at least I know the issue, and it leads me to this. Is my Honda Fit dangerous? Do I need to say goodbye? The answer, of course, isn't straightforward, but I did find a resource that helped me make a decision. The IHS's Guide to Buying a Used Car for Teenage Drivers. Their Good Choice car, which is really just barely safe enough, requires a good rating for the moderate overlap, and a newer small overlap test isn't considered. This makes sense because the moderate overlap score has a higher impact in lowering the risk of serious injury and death. The IHS also sets a minimum weight of 2,750 pounds, as smaller cars below this have been shown to be way more deadly to drive if the safety technology is from the same era. Check out this crash test, deadly to drive, 150 pounds. As the IHS also sets a minimum weight of 2,750 pounds, as smaller cars below this have been shown to be way more deadly to drive if the safety technology is from the same era. Check out this crash test. My car loses against the heavier one from the same year and company. Heavier cars have more crash structure and their mass pushes into the smaller one more. So how does my car stack up? It has a good moderate overlap score, it's over the weight limit, and there's a few other factors it either meets or there's not enough information. For me, this means my car is borderline safe and I should upgrade it in the future. In the meantime, I've changed my habits to drive less. I walk around more and take public transit when I can't.
There were a ton of engineering curiosities and details on how much the age and design of a car impacts risk that my story editor begged me to put in an article instead. So I'm launching a Substack, which is a WordPress newsletter platform that I'll put all my behind-the-scenes notes and videos in. You also only get an email whenever I have a new video, so I won't be spamming your inbox. Sign up below as the article won't be ready when this video is launched. If you like what you see here, subscribe to that, subscribe to my channel. Also, consider Proton if you want a privacy-focused email. I've already started using it to receive my medical documents. Thank you. See you in the next one.
Close the door so the neighbors won't call it.
Little did I know, that completely failed.
And a recession by the end of the year.
Doing something. Over the limit that I set for myself. Okay, I'm fucking annoyed by everything that happened today. Well, not everything, but a lot of stuff annoys me right now.
Being too popular can be such a hassle. Who knew the people would adore me so much?
Okay, maybe I'm going to be
Burn it down.
really useful right now. Let's just
Boring.
I'll become more
Isn't there
weaker.
anything else more interesting to do?
Many insects have a compulsion to follow the light. Exploration and trials. Adventuring is right up my alley.
Okay. Sure.
Use of force authorized.
Get to work. Light it up. Show no mercy. You're not fighting alone.
Incinerate! The flame burns on.
Accelerate defensive mode engaged. Take me! Earth below. Amazing! Action at the flame!
Installation chamber
My name,
deployed.
Echo in song!
Cleanup sequence initiated. Installation chamber deployed.
Ultimatum protocol.
Cleanup sequence initiated. Annihilation mode.
Let mine echoing song!
Installation chamber deployed. Preparing for dust up. Cleanup sequence initiated.
Amazing! Time to shine!
Try and stop me! Pyroclastic surge!
Let's shred!
Accelerating. Accelerating. Installation chamber deployed.
Ultimatum protocol.
Try and stop!
Okay. Let's... No. Okay. Imaginarium theaters, Paralabus. Not yet attempted.
Burn it down!
Defensive mode engaged. Yeah.
Menacing. Okay, so here I think what we want is no. Wrong. Sword, Hydra, confirm. Here, no, not here. Here, and, clear, Escoffier. Okay, I can just go with the Bennett here. The bullet.
Cleanup sequence in progress. Based on data from past incidents, please avoid dropping small items such as Mora, screws, gears, minerals, toys, gummies, snacks, hairbands, socks, and slippers. Reviewing outstanding items on today's to-do list. Do you have any additional commands? No problem. I can add them shortly. I'm quite used to it.
Well then. Fuck it. Maybe like that, I don't know. Oh. We might have problem.
Off we go! Bring it! Teamwork is dreamwork! Let's light it up!
Yeah.
Wrath from the skies!
Exactly. Yep.
Bring it! Light up the blazing sun! Full throttle! How annoying!
Ah, come on.
Cleanup sequence in progress. Based on data from past incidents, please avoid dropping small items such as
Many
Mora,
insects have a
screws,
compulsion
gears,
to
minerals,
follow the light.
toys, gummies,
And humans are the
snacks,
same.
hairbands, socks,
Except
and
we call that
slippers.
light hope.
Combat data updated. Please rest assured that I will not blow the roof off again.
Light it up!
Here.
Reviewing outstanding items on today's to-do list.
Wrong.
Do you have any additional commands? No problem. I can add them shortly. I'm quite used to it. Combat data updated. Please rest assured that I will not blow the roof off again. Cleanup sequence in progress. Based on data from past incidents, please avoid dropping small items such as Mora, screws, gears, minerals, toys, gummies, snacks, hairbands, socks, and slippers.
Oh. Well.
Instead of confining themselves to the heavens, God should broaden their horizons in the world below.
Reviewing outstanding items on today's to-do list. Do you have any additional commands? No problem. I can add them shortly. I'm quite used to it.
Okay,
Combat data updated. Please rest assured that I will not blow the roof off again.
Installations. What the deal? Oof. And the third one is the one that I am most confident in. Cannot adjust. Shouldn't.
Take it easy.
Oh, come on! For fuck's sake! I can't aim. Why can't they fucking aim?
Rev the engines! Game's up. Fun's over. Wind strike.
As one with wind and cloud.
Shred, Sharky! Pyroclastic surge! Take it easy.
Oh.
One with nature. Here comes the catch. Clouds high.
The birds come.
Take it easy. Busted. Things are about to get dicey.
One with wind and cloud.
One with nature. Here comes the cash. Check this out. Best of luck.
No, the end of our legacy.
With all my strength. Yeah. Stay put.
Do your work.
Positions.
We shall prevail.
All my strength.
Yield.
This dance is for you.
Bring us the blessing.
Don't be scared. Positions. Go away.
Do your worst. Shall prevail.
Use of force authorized. I warn you! Looks like violence is the answer. Tell me what you see.
Really?
Our bond is strong.
Be sanctified.
Nope.
For a fight.
Only the first chairs level.
Free. Thank you. Settle down.
Time to shine. Strike a pose.
Let the mighty be humbled.
Let the world shine.
Time to say hello. Be sanctified. I warn you! Looks like violence is here!
No, without any effort is...
Settle down! The time's begging. Bow your head.
Yeah, the friend of friend is a friend.
Do so much on your own,
Accelerating.
but with a group, anything's possible.
Cleanup sequence in progress.
The most
Based on
important
data
part of
from
going
past
out to have fun
incidents,
is,
please avoid
well,
dropping small
going
items
out.
such as
So just
Mora,
show up and I'll
screws,
handle the rest.
gears, minerals, toys, gummies, snacks, hairbands, socks, and slippers.
Ever tried chasing waves before? You want to try? Well, do well.
Accelerating. Cleanup sequence initiated.
And yet, that hasn't happened. Prices so far haven't really moved as high as was initially feared. The stock market has returned to pushing new record highs, and the economy has actually been posting better than expected results. All the while, the White House is claiming to have brought in trillions of dollars of foreign investment to the country. Supporting the idea that seemingly against all odds, the US has managed to hardball its way into prosperity, using its massive consumer base as a bargaining chip to negotiate many concessions from foreign countries and get them to pay tribute to their economy. But depending on where you look, the figures can paint a very different picture. Labor, for example, has continued to disappoint. In August, we saw the massive 258,000 downward revision to the estimated May and June hiring numbers, with a more recent estimate actually pointing to a decrease in non-farm payrolls for the month of June. So are Trump's tariffs actually working? Is Trump making like Cynthia Erivo and defying gravity? Or is the US economy actually sputtering here? Well, with us now being 6 months into this period of high tariffs, we now have some more data to help better understand what's happened year to date. And today we'll look into some key areas and discuss how they've been impacted by Trump's tariffs and, importantly, why they might have been moving against expectations. But before hopping into that, it's worth understanding the opposing view. Why many economists are against Trump's tariff regime. You see, like other forms of taxation, tariffs are considered to be an inefficient price distortion to the market, something that both lowers the quantity traded and increases prices. And while they can be important to utilize from a national security standpoint, when it comes to free trade, they generally prevent countries from taking full advantage of specialization. The idea that if different countries focus on different areas and get better at those things, the group of trading partners as a whole will mutually benefit from higher quality goods or lower prices. Now, a big part of Trump's tariff campaign is America's large trade deficit, the fact that the country imports hundreds of billions of dollars more than it exports to other countries. But this isn't inherently a bad thing for the United States. Yes, there can be consequences to having a large trade deficit, but it's quite normal for a wealthy nation to be a net importer of goods. And for the US specifically, this deficit has actually helped the US dollar and financial markets maintain their global dominance, since this exporting of dollars contributes to it being the most widely used currency globally. Not to mention that being able to buy a foreign good for less than you could domestically comes with its own benefits. And while yes, tariffs may allow certain domestic industries to prosper with the protections put in place, thereby creating jobs in those select areas, it's generally the view that the higher costs passed on to the consumers and the general job loss from the distortion isn't generally worth the protection. In fact, while Trump's tariffs on steel during his first term did create thousands of new jobs in that industry, this benefit was offset by the impact to manufacturing, where higher input costs led to a relative decline in employment. And with seen many examples historically of countries hurting their economic output by imposing tariffs, you can see why many economists generally advocate for free trade. But it brings us to the first main question that's puzzled a lot of people by now. If tariffs are so bad for inflation and the like, why aren't prices rising? After all, tariffs should directly increase the cost of a good because they are literally increasing the cost of buying that thing. So you should see prices increase as a result. Yet Trump has highlighted that inflation is virtually non-existent, except for windmills, I guess, stating that it's foreign countries who are paying the higher price of these tariffs, not Americans. Now, both of those statements are technically incorrect, given that tariffs are paid for at the importer level, and we are still obviously having inflation. It is true that the latest inflation figures have been below expectations, with CPI price levels increasing just 2.9% as of the most recent release, above the central bank's target, but still fairly below the higher rates feared by economists. Meanwhile, the PPI, which measures prices charged by producers, was recently reported to have increased 2.6%, with the level actually dropping 0.1% month over month in August. Something that, among other things, has prompted many to argue that tariffs are actually deflationary, not inflationary. And it is true that foreign companies are absorbing some of the costs of the tariffs here, because while they don't pay the cost directly, they have been lowering their prices to compensate for the higher fee. In fact, Goldman Sachs estimates that consumers so far have only borne about 1/5 of the entire cost of Trump's tariffs, with Temu, for example, recently reducing the price of its popular products by an average of 18%, supporting the idea that Trump has seemingly pulled off the impossible of raising record levels of tariff revenue without pushing up prices meaningfully. The problem, however, is that it's not foreign companies absorbing the lion's share of these levies. According to Goldman Sachs, foreign exporters have actually paid less than US consumers, covering just 14% of these new fees, while US businesses have covered the remaining 64%, meaning effectively that domestic parties have paid roughly 86% of the record-breaking tariff revenue that's been brought in. Now, the reason US companies have willingly taken the brunt of these levies is because in 2025, we've seen consumer confidence drop to its lowest point since the pandemic, meaning companies are concerned that consumers would rather forego spending than pay higher prices. And with the trade situation being so volatile, with new trade deals being announced and changes made, it appears companies are trying to avoid alienating their consumer base and waiting to see how things ultimately shake out. So that helps to explain why we haven't seen the surge of inflation that many expected by now. But another component here to consider is the inventory stockpiling. On the announcement of tariffs, we actually saw the US increase its trade deficit to a record high as companies increased imports trying to get ahead of the new levy, something that temporarily has allowed companies to put off their price hikes as they haven't yet paid more for their own inputs. The problem, however, is that neither of these mitigation methods are sustainable. Goldman Sachs estimates that by the fall, consumers will be covering 67% of the cost of tariffs as companies increasingly pass along their price increases. Now, it's a common misconception that if you have a tariff rate of, say, 50% on steel imports, that will increase the price of most goods directly by 50%, assuming they have imported components. However, the cost of final products has many other factors baked into it in addition to imports, including labor involved with final assembly domestically, as well as retail staff who sell that product, neither of which would be impacted directly by a tariff rate. Nonetheless, many forecasts have pointed to a broad general price increase of 2 percentage points above what we're currently seeing, meaning that we could see inflation of 4 to 5% across the board once businesses pass on more of the tariff costs. So while the current inflation situation has been used by some as evidence that economists have been wrong, and to be clear, they are wrong a lot, you can see that it's not so much that tariffs aren't impacting price levels, but more so that companies are trying to compensate for it and to hold off hiking their own prices as long as possible in the face of a weak consumer base. Now, as for why some have posited that tariffs are actually deflationary, That stems from some monetary schools of economic thought that argue that all forms of taxation are deflationary in nature, given that they pull money out of the economy and thereby reduce money supply and liquidity, which is a real factor in consideration. Taxation does have a depressing impact on money supply, and if we experience a recession, it could very well lead at some point to a decrease in price levels, as economic contractions tend to be deflationary. But this real deflationary pressure of tariffs is often offset by the direct impact tariffs have on prices, the disruption it causes to supply chains, which brings other costs as companies have to set up new infrastructure, and the economy deals with the dead weight brought on by taxes. And in this case, the fact that the US government is directly offsetting any deflationary influence from tariffs with the big beautiful bill, which cuts taxes, increases government spending, and is forecasted to increase the government deficit by $1 trillion over the next decade, even after accounting for tariff revenue brought in. And thankfully, we don't have to theorize about the relationship between tariffs and inflation, because again, we have empirical evidence to demonstrate that while the impact is not always clear-cut, historically, tariffs tend to lead to higher price levels for the imposing country. The circumstances where you often see prices fall is when, again, the tariffs occur during or cause a recession. During periods of economic expansion, inflation is actually exacerbated by tariffs. And as a side note, regarding the PPI measure that many use as evidence of deflation, it was actually services that saw a decrease in price and ultimately pulled the measure down. Goods where tariffs are actually applying still saw their prices increase. But then what about the other angle, the manufacturing jobs? Trump has long argued that the US has hollowed out its manufacturing capabilities by relying on foreign countries, and that tariffs would help bring these jobs back on shore. Is that in fact what we're seeing? Well, no. While we did in fact see the trade deficit for the United States fall 25% year over year in July, that also followed a period of record high imports, so it is somewhat to be expected. And domestic manufacturing hasn't really shown meaningful signs of reigniting. One gauge of manufacturing activity, the S&P Global US Manufacturing PMI, did in fact see a strong rebound in August. Another gauge, the Institute of Supply Management's Manufacturing Index, instead showed that the US had had its 6th month of manufacturing activity contraction, with Susan Spence, the chair of the survey committee, indicating that 69% of manufacturing GDP was estimated to be in contraction. We've also seen sluggish performance from other indicators, such as the real final sales to private domestic purchasers, which measures domestic purchases and domestic production. And while the figure was better than expected with its recent release, it's still lower than it was a year ago despite the global trade barriers. And as we alluded to when it comes to jobs, things haven't looked so promising, with the latest update pointing to a continued decline at the aggregate level, with unemployment ticking to its highest point in 4 years, as the US saw more job seekers than job openings for the first time since April 2021. And for manufacturing jobs specifically, the area that the tariffs are seemingly targeting, well, jobs have actually fallen for the 4th month in a row. Now, of course, it is to be expected that jobs wouldn't surge immediately on the announcement of tariffs. It takes time for companies to build out their domestic manufacturing infrastructure and capacity, and so it could take years before we see a meaningful impact on manufacturing jobs. And Trump has argued that with the trade negotiations and record amounts of investment coming into the country, jobs are sure to follow. Apple, Project Stargate, Nvidia, and a number of other companies have made their own sizable domestic investment promises in the hundreds of billions, while countries like the United Arab Emirates, Japan, and the collective European Union have seemingly agreed to invest trillions of dollars into the United States as part of their trade negotiations. And if we saw these manufacturers and countries follow through on those investment promises, that could very well lead to a meaningful boost to economic activity in the United States. After all, America's total foreign direct investment in 2024 was around $330 billion. So investments in the trillions of dollars, even if spread out over Trump's term, would move the needle quite a bit. The problem is that it's questionable how much follow-through we'll actually see with these deals. While Japan has moved the closest to cementing its investment promise with the recently signed Memorandum of Understanding outlining the terms of the arrangement, the Gulf state investment promises so far represent verbal commitments that would be challenging for the economies to meet. Not to mention, some of these actually stem from prior agreements before Trump's term. The European Union doesn't actually have grounds to enforce a $600 billion investment from its member states, with it admitting that this is just what's expected to come from private companies. And for South Korea, who promised a $350 billion investment, we're already seeing disagreements over the terms of that investment package. Now, yes, we've seen domestic companies promising to invest more in the US, Apple being one of the key examples of a situation where Trump has seemingly been successful in convincing a company to bring manufacturing into the United States. But for many of these investment promises, the largest of which are for tech or pharmaceutical companies, it's unclear whether these announcements are based on tariffs or just the surging demand for AI infrastructure and drug development in the United States. The Taiwanese semiconductor company TSMC, for example, which made one of the largest commitments from a foreign company at $100 billion, actually made this announcement in March, before any tariffs had been announced on Taiwan or semiconductors. With in fact a Reuters review finding that a good chunk of investments claimed by the Trump administration were either previously secured under Biden or just part of routine spending. And while a lot of these investment promises do span multiple years, so far the infrastructure build-out needed to bring manufacturing jobs back to the US just hasn't really kicked off yet. There's this great chart that was shared with me that shows that US factory construction is actually down 7% from last year. Ironically, thanks in part to companies finishing up their projects under Biden-era incentive programs like CHIPS or the Inflation Reduction Act. Now, of course, this, or really any of the other factors we've talked about, might change in the future. I think hopefully this video has demonstrated that in the short term, you do have these distortions that make it hard to figure out what's actually going on. Some of the gauges we referenced, for example, like the opposing manufacturing indices, rely on executive surveys and may not be perfectly accurate. Well, even labor data, as we've seen, is prone to meaningful revisions, which was recently exemplified by the massive nearly 1 million jobs that were cut out of past estimates for the 12-month period ending this past March. But the point is to highlight that while we've heard of these lofty promises from different countries, companies, and the like, we just haven't yet seen follow through with it. And there hasn't been much evidence to date that on the net, America's economy has benefited from tariffs. But then why is the economy growing so much? After all, we saw in the second quarter that US GDP actually grew 3.3% year over year, faster than expected and higher than its long-term average. Well, part of this is again the distorting impact of tariffs. Imports, for example, contributed to a lower first quarter GDP print and a higher second quarter print. But one aspect to consider is that the US economy does have other strong factors moving in its favor. For one, there's the big beautiful bill. Yes, while a controversial piece of legislation, given that it does increase the US government's debt load, which has caused some turmoil in the US bond market, it did also come with tax cuts and other things that could stimulate the economy. There's also, of course, the AI gold rush, with the UBS estimating that tech companies will spend $375 billion on AI infrastructure in 2025 and $500 billion next year. All of which in the short term translates into more activity for the US economy, regardless of how these investments ultimately pan out. But the point is that the economy has seemingly been performing in spite of tariffs, not really because of them. Again, most empirical research points to a net negative impact on economic activity and a rise in unemployment when tariffs are imposed. And most forecasts are calling for a 1 percentage point impact to US GDP as a result of Trump's current tariffs. And yes, the US may be able to use tariffs to negotiate better trade deals, and that could ultimately still benefit the US economy. And that's where the discussion does get a bit more complicated, because you would then have to factor in what's ultimately agreed upon. But over the long term, when you ignore the negotiation aspect of this, and if you look past the distortions in the short term, it's very likely that tariffs will dampen overall economic activity. And while it may benefit some and the US may still avoid a recession in spite of these tariffs, it doesn't mean that the tariffs are a contributor to economic growth. Now, with all that being said, hopefully it does go to show that we don't face a clear picture here. Despite all the factors we're looking at, we can't really know for certain whether things will move one direction or the other, whether tariffs will allow the US to negotiate better trade deals that ultimately benefit the economy, if it then leads to, say, dropping the tariffs, or if the tariffs stay in place and hurt the economy overall. But hopefully it emphasizes the importance of going beyond just individual data points to try and understand what's actually happening behind the scenes, rather than taking individual charts or what have you at face value. It's important that when you look at figures like inflation, you dig a little bit deeper. Thank you guys for joining me today. If you like this video, please do make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It does help the channel tremendously. And let me know your thoughts on the topic, as well as any other topics you'd like me to cover on the channel. I've been trying to branch out from just tariff related stuff, but I wanted to give a quick update on what we've seen to date. And of course, if we see a major update, I'll cover that as well. But hopefully we'll be diversifying a little bit. Anyway, thanks again for joining me. And as always, be safe out there.
That's enough. Alright, that's going to be it for this strong. Good luck, fun. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.